Hi, this is Anna Imagination. This is not a story episode. This is going to be a science and dissection episode. I am reverse engineering sequencing to determine the sequencing of sequencing. All right, this is literally, I am dissecting the sequencing of sequencing, and we're going to reverse engineer sequencing. So this is what I've got. I'm going to go ahead and put this over here because this is going to go underneath on the video description here. So this could not be more redundant than reverse engineering sequence to dissect sequencing to define sequencing. So this is basically the order of operations. When you're talking about the order of operations, you are actually defining it as sequence. And you are ordering, that's what order is. Ordering is the lineup. For greater than, less than. Greater than, less than. This is God math. This is how we do God math. Greater than, less than. This is why you had to learn greater than, less than. But they didn't tell you this part. What you were really doing was ordering out the order of operations. So this is how you decide it. So whenever I do math, whenever I figure something out, so I walk into a room. So stage one. I shift, and I go, what the fuck is this mess? That literally, that is, what the fuck is this mess? I need to have someone go through and clean up all my stuff and make it PG. What the fuck is this mess? So this is stage one. And what I see here, observation. So we're going to dissect this. So now observation is there are unidentified. It's disorganization. So the observation is disorganization. And I would describe that as there are unidentified components all over the place called chaos. So this is stage one. Stage one is there is unorganized, unidentified components all over the place. Imagine somebody takes a 52 card pickup and you've got 52 cards all over the place, except those are cards and they are identified in the 52 cards that are located in a poker deck. No, we're talking something more chaotic than that. We are talking unidentified components all over the place. Now, immediately, you do not know what they are. You lack their names, and that's important. And you also do not know quantity. So the name and the quantity are both unknown. So quantity and name. Quantity, it's like a big file. Quantity, unknown. I can see like a mystery file. I see it exactly. It's like you're doing a murder mystery. And all right, so what's the status here? Well, we've got a disorganized mess of chaos. What the fuck is this mess? I don't know. We've got unidentified things with an unknown quantity. Oh, that's chaos, all right. That's right, officer. How do you want to proceed? Well, let's start with organizing this shit. So you're going to organize it. Now, in order to organize it, the first thing you're going to want to do, so this is going to be Operation Organize the Chaos. That's what we're doing. This is literally math. This is the adventures of math. Oh, yes, this is a thing. This is how I do math. The adventures of math. I have done this over 40 times strategically with data and everything. So when you want to organize the chaos, what you need to do is literally put everything into a line. You want to collect all of it. So you want to collect the data. Collect the data. That is what you want to do. Now, when you collect the data, you're going to use pattern recognition. And what pattern recognition? That's actually a fancy name for find the common denominators. That's what you're doing. Common denominator. Denominators. Okay, so that's really what you're doing. When you are doing pattern recognition, you are finding common denominators. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be in the right sequence. If you're lucky, they will be, but you're really looking for common denominators. Now, the opponent of common denominator is anomaly. An anomaly is no grouping. So basically, you're going to be putting them into groups. That's it. You're categorizing them. We're going to call this categorizing. So categorizing is actually grouping. That's really what this is. You're doing grouping. So it's like you have a toy box. I remember doing this as a child. We had toy boxes, and you want to sort, and you want to label, and you want to name, and you want to put all of them in a grouping. I did this as a child. I enjoyed this very much. This is all I did over and over again. And then I had kids, and we had 3 toy boxes, and I spent much of my time organizing their toys into groups and categories. And then you've got some children, when you give them Skittles, they take the Skittles and they sort them off into all the groupings. And then when I have Reese's Pieces, especially Reese's Pieces, you categorize them off into 3 groupings. So you have the yellows, and you have the browns, and you have the, what's the other color located in the Reese's Pieces? Hey, Lizzie, what's the other color? Orange. You have orange. So you have yellow, you have orange, and you have brown. And it is just in this moment that I realized they got the brown because they combined the yellow and the brown. Or the yellow and the orange. Yellow and orange make brown. That makes sense now. Okay, so you have your grouping, okay? So when you have your grouping, you have your category, you sort, label, name, then once you do this, you start to realize what are the common differences. So now this is called comparisons. This is why the human brain does comparisons, is because it's trying to do grouping. So comparisons is the brain trying to do grouping. But if you don't know how to do grouping, you're going to end up applying comparisons at a time of grouping when you're not supposed to be doing grouping. And that's when you compare yourself to your siblings, and then you start to feel like shit. It's all because your brain is running off with, oh, it's time to do grouping. No. That's not how you do grouping. You do not compare yourself to other people. That's not how you do grouping. But an undisciplined mind will not know this. So then you'll end up comparing yourself to everybody else, and then you'll feel like shit. That's because you have undisciplined grouping. So then you get your pattern recognition all together, and you find the common denominators. And the common denominators that don't have any matches is the anomaly. That is called the groups versus the non-groups. And that's really it. You have the groups versus the non-groups. And the groups are your common denominators. Your anomalies fall into the non-groups. Now, this is actually a misnomer. An anomaly belongs to group B that you're not taking into consideration. So it's really important to take all of your anomalies, and this is advanced mathematics, and look for the common denominators between all of your anomalies, because that's going to ignite another group that you're not even calculating. So a great way to do this is look with colors. We're going to use colors as an example for this. When you have colors, you have, let's say you have red, you have purple, and you have blue. Okay, red, purple, blue. So let's say you want all the purple crayons or all the purple anything. So then you look at everything and all the purple shows up. Now you're going to end up with 3 different colors. When I say red, or when I say purple, I am going to end up with red, I'm going to end up with purple, and I'm going to end up with blue. So the red would be an anomaly, and the blue would be an anomaly, and the purple is the common denominator. Now let's change it. Let's do a different search engine. Let's say I want just the red. Now I'm going to get red and I'm going to get purple. The reason why is because purple contains red. And as a result, I'm going to get an occasional purple popping up in the red. This is why every now and then your cereal has a random, this doesn't fit inside of the box. This is why when you have M&Ms and suddenly you have this random color and you're going, what the fuck is this random color? I bought a blue bag. It's because an anomaly with the sorting and organization slipped in. That's an anomaly. So when you are looking for red, anything that uses red is going to pop up, which is why you occasionally get a random purple. Now, it's not that the purple is wrong. It does contain red. However, that belongs to a different grouping called blue. Now, if you're not calculating for the blue group, if you're not calculating for the blue group, then it's not actually an anomaly. It just means that it belongs to a different subgroup or a different sister group that you're not calculating. So it's not really an anomaly. It just means that you have shared characteristics. So that's really what you have, is shared characteristics. And this is why in mathematics, you then want to look at something called, I got to think, relevancy versus relatability. This is very, very important. And the reason why is because things might be related, but that does not mean that they are relevant. So when you are doing this kind of grouping, you want to make sure that you can sort out the difference between what is relevant to your organization versus what is relatable. That is very, very important. Now you're going to want to give name. You have defined. Now you want to give name. So the naming is now the labeling part. This is when you are labeling the common denominators. Labeling common denominators. Denominators. By the way, nominate, name. Do we see that? It literally means common names. So there you go. Now you've labeled the common denominators. Now the next thing you want to do is put them in sequence order. This is put them in order. To put them in order, that is your sequence, you are going to want to look for, and this is it right here. This is where it gets really, really, really special. Because what you are really doing at this point is you are putting them in order of value, of predecessor to successor. And a great way of exempling this is 1 plus 1 equals 2, which means 2 has elements of 1 in it. But 3 has elements of 1 and 2 in it. And 4 has elements of 1, 2, and inside of it. But it's also greater than 3. You could also say it has elements of 3 and 1 in it. Therefore, it's 4. This is how they reverse engineer numbers. And then 5 has elements of 4 and 1, 2 and 3, 2 and 2 and 1. You see how this works? So every number has literally a ratio or a combination of pre-existing elements. Now, 4 does not have any elements of 5 in it, and 3 does not have any relevancy to 9, but 9 has 3, but 3 does not have 9. You see how this works? So as a result, you are able to determine the order of sequencing based off of where is the origin parent. And the origin parent is 1. 1 is always the origin parent. 1 is always the origin. So it is the one common denominator that is carried through everything we've got. 1 is the common denominator of all. 1 is the common denominator of all. And there it is. 1 is the common denominator of all, which is why it's number 1. 2 is the common denominator of all except 1. 3 is the common denominator of all except 1 and 2, which is why it's 3. 4 is the common denominator of all except 1, 2, and 3, which is why it's 4. And 5 is the common denominator of all except for 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is sequencing. So when you are putting things in order, you are looking for the common denominators that trails through all. And now you can see this gorgeous pyramid being built of, oh, this is the foundation. So now you are defining the foundation, you are looking for the origin, and you are still breaking down the commonalities of all. And you're going to notice a decrease and an increase. And there you go. Now you got your ledger line. There you have your ledger line, decreasing and increasing. So this is just sequencing. Now, once you've got your sequencing, that's when you step back and you start looking at pattern recognition. And that's when you start to notice the pattern increasing. What's the pattern? This is where you ask, what is the pattern? Now, the sequence can be long, the sequencing can be short, and this is where, in order to see the size of that pattern, you might have to zoom out and get a greater point of view. You might be looking at something. So now there is this is where you get into integration and disintegration now. This is really what integration and disintegration is you need to know what tier, disintegration. You need to know what tier you are on to know, I love this, the quantum level. So you have to define the quantum level of integration and disintegration. And now this is called generations. Boop, that's where you get a generation from. It's literally your level of predecessor, successor within the integration, disintegration from the point of origin in the sequence. Now, this is the best part. This is the best part. When you're looking at this stuff, are you looking down toward the origin? Are you looking toward the origin? Or are you looking away from the origin? Now, and this is where it gets really amazing. I am trying to determine, here is the question. How do you determine the truth and relativity to the origin? Because I use the truth to find my way. I use logic to measure. Logic measures. Logic measures. It's the measuring tool. Logic measures, builds, deconstructs, and navigates the sequence. Logic measures, builds, deconstructs, and navigates the sequence. That's all it does. Logic measures, builds, deconstructs, and navigates this sequence. So if you are looking toward your origin, heritage origin, I need to clarify that this is heritage origin versus whether or not you are looking. I'm trying to figure out what I would call this in my future. Destination. Destination is really the best way to call it. And if I were to give that name for the destination, it would be the integrated greater whole that will be my successor. It will be my successor. The destination is the integrated greater whole. Oh yeah, I'm saying it. It's the integrated greater whole that will be my successor of me, of self. Yeah, it's the successor of self. My self-successor. Oh yeah, we're totally doing it. I will call this the self-successor. There you go. My self-successor. It's the successor of yourself. There you go. I'm loving all of this. This is so beautiful. Toward the origin, heritage, or away from the origin. The destination, the integrated greater whole that will be my successor of self. My self-successor. So how do you determine the truth and relativity to the origin? Logic measures, builds, deconstructs, and navigates the sequence. So, it now leads us to the question of what is your origin, heritage? That's the first question. What is your self-successor? And where are you now? Where are you now in your story? And that's really it. So after you organize and put everything in the right order of operations, you have your sequence. There's going to be, now you want to identify key milestones in your sequence. This is vital. Identifying the key milestones in your sequence. And it consists of the following. The first thing it consists of is the origin. The second thing is going to be your parent. And the next thing is going to be yourself, I'm going to call it your destination. And then, no, I'm going to say that that's going to be fourth, because knowing where you are in relativity to, and that is, we're going to call it just present location. Well, or present self. I'll call it present self. So you have origin, you have parent, you have the present self, you have destination. Look at that. You've got past, present, and future. Woohoo! So then, and that's exactly it. You have your past. And then you have for origin, you have your heritage. For the present self, well, that's the present. And then your destination is going to be your future. And then, now this is just defined. This is identifying the key milestones in your sequence. That's it. Like that is such a huge, this is it right here. So once you've built everything, now it's learning how to when I did my everything, one of the things that I learned was that I learned that I had 4 alters. So for me in my brain, I'm going, oh, I was at -4 on the ledger line, literally -4 on the ledger line. So when I integrated, I ended up on 0, which is where we're supposed to be when we're born. So I'm like, all right, I'm back at 0. I did this a year ago. Like in 2023, I was back at 0. And that's when I went, oh, there's more to integrate here. And that's when you start moving through. So if you're disintegrated, if you have a multiple personality disorder, you're going to be like in the negatives of you're disintegrating. And you've got elements inside of your brain. You've got elements inside of you that all disintegrate and move at different paces. God, it's just so beautiful how it fits all together. It's just so beautiful because it just keeps fitting in together. And it's just like integrating, disintegrating. And I'm just like, oh, yes, integrate it all. I feel like an integration wizard. I'm the integration wizard. I'm the wizard of integration. That's what it feels like. And every time I just play around with this more, I'm like, let's dissect it. Are we following? So in my world, it's, are we going to, so this is, I'm just going to do it. This is my world. So I wake up every day and I go, which direction are we going to look at today? Are we going to look down into the origin? Are we going to look out into the destination? And I decide if I'm going to put my back to origin or if I'm going to put my back to destination. And it allows me to look down into the past and work the logical code that way, or to work the logical code that way. Now, this is only done once you get to the point of comprehension, when you stand in truth, because that's when you have the purified, well, what did we call it in my last video? Let me look it up, because I did this in crayon, because I'm going to be saying this a lot, because it's the most beautiful thing in the world. I'm going to have my little pedestal, the purified truth of a constant. So now you're building constants. You're literally identifying and labeling all the constants. So let me go back to the thing. And that's what we're doing, is when you are defining common denominators, these are constants, which is truth. Those are your common denominators of the truth, or the thing that is constantly like in everything, they're in all. So you put them in the right order, the value of predecessor to successor. One is the common denominator of all, foundation order. So when you sit down and you do mathematics in school, this is what you're doing. This is all you're doing. All of math is this. You are just doing a dissection of a part of this. All of mathematics is this. All of it. All of it. You are either counting the sequence. You are identifying the location of your sequence. You are comparing sides of your sequence. You are measuring the growth of your sequence. You are determining which way of the sequence you are facing. I think that's it. That's really all there is. That's it. You and the sequence. It's you and your ledger line. That's all of mathematics. Now, the best thing is when you step into the world of music, it's the same thing. When you step into the world of music, you're playing with the sequence. And when you're stepping into the world of art, you are building your sequence. And when you are reading and writing, you are reading about the sequence and you are writing about your sequence. And when you are doing arithmetic, you are learning how to count the sequence. And the telling and unfolding of all of the sequence is the story of the sequence. And when you study history, you are learning fractions of the sequence. And then when you decide to do theater and stage, you are reenacting parts of the sequence. And then when you do poetry, you are using sequence to reenact the story of the sequence. And then when you step into the world of logic, you are dissecting the sequence. And then when you do math, you are summarizing the sequence. And when you learn physics, you are learning about how the sequence interacts with each other. And then when you get into chemistry, you mix the sequence into explosions in chemistries and new branches of sequence. We call that tree branches. And then in biology, it is the summation of all the sequence. And then you have the ability to write all of the sequence. After that, you then summarize it all into a historical lesson called Philosophy of the Sequence. And then you learn how to condense it all into a single word called story, which I like to call mythos. And then you give it to people. And this is the story of sequence. And then after that, it becomes the story, the storytelling. And this is the sequence. It's in everything we do. It is all. So do you sculpt the sequence? Do you write the sequence? Do you dance in the sequence to tell interpretive dance of the sequence and your little interpretation of a fraction of it? That's what you're doing. So are you looking at the fraction? Are you looking at the dissection? And that's it. Everybody is doing something with the sequence, unless you got a day job and then you're just like droning around and slaving to the system and doing what your mommy and daddy said, and you're miserable because you're not in the sequence. Happiness is the sequence. So yeah. And then there's living and progressing through the sequence. There's understanding your relatability to the sequence, understanding, oh, well, what sequence are you? Oh, I come from this sequence. What variation of the sequence are you? I'm this variation. So what is your variation of the sequence? I will tell you, I am story, I am party, and I am knowledge of the sequence. That's what I am. I am story, party, and knowledge of the sequence. So understanding what you are with the sequence. Lizzie, what are you with the sequence? She's playing Minecraft. So she's learning the sequence. That's what she's doing, the sequence. And this is the best part about the sequence. The sequence is in relativity to Mother Nature's equilibrium. It's actually a fraction of the equilibrium. So while Mother Nature is obsessive about her equilibrium and making sure it's all balanced, while we're all composing sequences and like adding our own tree branches, it's like craft class, where we've all got our own branch of sequence and we're all just like cramming it like straws into styrofoam, going, look at what I made. And it's fine as long as it's balanced to Mother Nature's equilibrium. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it right there. It's a story of science, but it's not just science. It's the story of all. Yeah, the story of all. The story of all. And understanding where you are, where you want to be. But in order to even get to that point, you've got to make sure you're on the sequence train. I call that your life stream. And you've got to learn how to navigate it. Now, here's the thing is you could get there and you could be stalled out going, okay, I'm here, but I don't know what to do. And you're like sucking your thumb and you're rocking and you're one of the 6 rooms and you're trying to figure out how to cross the room and open the door. And once you get the algorithm, which I gave you in the last video, it's just, there it is. It's scientific method, the 12 ethics, and it's just knowing how to navigate. So you walk into a room, and this is it right here, is when you begin life, you have this intuition to just follow the sequence. I can see it in this epic journey called a game. And it's like a game where you show up at my sage door and you're going, who am I? Who am I? And I'm going, oh, you seek the answer of life. I will tell you where you must go. And I'll pull out my magical orb because that'd be really fucking cool to have a magical orb, but there'd be no purpose to the magical orb. It would just be something that looks really fucking cool. And I would have 2 magical orbs. I have one that does that whole electrical thingy that I can never remember the name for. I remember. It's like Tesla's. It's something to do with Tesla. It's Tesla's ball. So I'd have Tesla's ball. And then I'd have this mystical, like, foggy ball. I'd have both. I'd consult the orbs just for shits and giggles. And then I would ask you a question and send you on the quest. And this is what I love. Questions. Questions. It's all begins with questions. It's this is you need a quest. Like, listen to it. Are you ready for this? Questions. Do you hear what I'm saying? Questions. Because there's a quest. It's in the word. Questions. So you'll be sent on a quest. Questions. I don't know who came up with that genius. I got to look up. I don't want just the etymology of question. I want to know who. I want to know what gorgeous brain came up with this. I want to know the man who sat down and said this. This right here is what I want. Was it Plato? Okay, that is so not it. Querere, to ask, to seek, to ask, to see. I want a name. And then it went into Old French with queste, quester, and then English inquest. Inquest sounds very fascinating. I really want to know what inquest is. Inquest, law, inquest, a judicial inquiry to ascertain the facts relating to an incident such as a death. I don't want to know about that. That is not at all where I wanted that to go. It was interesting and then it wasn't. Questions, quests. So when you're given a quest, see how this all keeps coming back to King Arthur? This is all about King Arthur. So you want to pursue a quest. And when you're given the quest, and here's the thing, I love Socrates, but this is where he really fucked it up, because the question is not who are you? The question is not who are you? Yes, that absolutely drew me all over the world. And I asked the question, what is love? That is not the question. And what did Douglas say? Douglas said it. You must ask the right question. Because when you don't ask the right question, thank you, Douglas, you go on the wrong quest. This is a true story. When you do not ask the right question, you do not go on the right quest. This is a science. This is my science. This is the science of asking the right question, which is called linguistics and logic and word and story. So if you want, this is a science. We're going to talk about this because this is it right here. You want the destination X, right? And you're going, I don't know where I want to go. I want to know where I want to go. That is the question. You want to know what your destination is. But you're probably coming here going, I have no idea where I'm going. I just know that I'm going. You're going to the truth. I'm going to tell you that right now. Just cheat. Spoiler alert, you're going to the truth. That's what you're looking for. But you got to make sure you're asking the right question. Thank you, Douglas. Because if you don't ask the right question, you're going to pursue the wrong journey. This is like a massive part of the quest where you go into the wizard's domain and you're like, sage, please ask me. Tell me what I'm supposed to do. This is what I want to know. And then they give you some riddle and then you pursue it. And no. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about, are you asking the right question? Because Douglas said, you got to ask the right question. Really, it's like my favorite line in all of Douglas Adams. It is, are you asking the right question? Because if you ask the wrong question, you're just on a red herring. That's a wild goose chase. So you need to make sure you're asking the right question. So the right question is, where do you want to go? If you want to know where you want to go, well, how do you know where you want to go? Because who you are is going to be who you find along the journey. That's not the right question. That's why I'm looking at Socrates going, dude, what the hell are you doing? Now, it was great for me, but no, we're going to level it up. If you want that question, go back to Socrates, do Plato. No. We're going to upgrade it. We're going to upgrade Socrates. That's what we're doing here. So you come to me and you say, who am I? And I'm going, no. That's an old hack. We're beyond that. That's like philosophy 101. No. You don't ask who you are. You want to know where you want to go before you're getting there. So I want to dissect the question, where am I going? You want to know where you want to go before you get there. Most people will say, I want to be happy. You know where you want to go. So the question really is, how do I be happy? How do you be happy? How do you be happy? How do you be happy? That's really what we all want, isn't it? It's why it's called the pursuit of happiness. It's how do you be happy? To thine own self be true. Shakespeare told you. You need to listen to William. He told you. To thine own self be true. This is not hard. The answers are already in all of the books. Pursuit of happiness, to thine own self be true. Hamlet. Read Hamlet. It's the story of happiness. Which is ironic because it's really not a happy story at all. But that's the point. That's the point. Read Hamlet. If you want to know about happiness, read Hamlet. All the answers you seek are already in all the books ever written. Now it's just knowing the right sequence. Boom, we're back to that again. Knowing the right order in which to read all of these to get all the answers. But it's about the journey. It's about the journey. There is no destination. There is no destination. That's the secret. It's not, once I get to this destination, then I will be happy. No, it's not. The journey is the joy. The journey is the joy. That's why we watch One Piece. That's what One Piece is all about. The journey is the joy. He's never going to make it to, okay, he's going to get to the One Piece. And then it's going to be a sad day because it's over. Why are we sad when it's over? Because it's over. We don't want it to be over. That's why we want the journey. I don't want there to be an ending. It's the journey. The journey is the joy. And that's really it, is you're enjoying it. My favorite moment in Lord of the Rings is when Sméagol is having conversations with his conflicted self. And Faramir has decided to be a good person after all and release the hobbits with a ring. So he returns the ring to Frodo and he lets Frodo and Sam go. And you know that Sméagol, the asshole, is taking and leading them right into Shelob's lair. And it's the very, very end. And you hear that really awesome song start to play up. And Sam calls to him and says, come on, Sméagol. And you see Sméagol have conflict with himself. And you know, God, I love this. I love this moment. This is like my favorite moment in all of Lord of the Rings. It's the moment when Faramir is like, I will be true to myself. And Faramir does the right thing. And Frodo and Sam get to continue to do the next part of their journey. And it's a massive obstacle that they've overcome. And Sméagol's got some serious fucking issues. And you just, oh my God, it's such a great cocktail of momentary right there in the story. I could just push pause right there and just, yeah, I'm going to sit here for a long time. Why? I'm looking at the fractals of Minecraft at the moment. Fractals. I'm looking at the fractals. I studied fractals yesterday, and it was amazing. It was the infinity of fractals. And I'm looking at this Minecraft moment in my daughter's game, and it looks identical to the fractals I studied with the squares, and then you zoom in, and there's more squares, and you zoom in, and there's more squares than you zoom. That's fractals. Is it lava? Is that lava? Don't stand on the lava. I learned that. Don't stand on the lava. I learned that when I was 5, when I played The Floor is Lava. The Floor is Lava. The Floor is Lava. I have so much to say about The Floor is Lava. The Floor is Lava is the most amazing game in the entire fucking world. Like, let us talk about The Floor is Lava. First of all, I play that game even now. I never stopped playing The Floor is Lava. Did you? Why did you ever stop playing The Floor is Lava? The Floor is Lava is the best fucking thing in the world. The Floor is Lava is magic. The Floor is Lava. It was such a, and then the best thing is I was almost the oldest of like all these kids. So every time my siblings came up and went, the floor is lava, yes, I love this game. And then I got to play it with everybody. And then I was 18 and my mom decided to have another child. And then my 2-year-old sister was like, the floor is lava. And here I am at 20 going, yes, the floor is lava. So I got to play the floor is lava with my 2-year-old sister. Oh my God, it was so much fun. And then I had kids and they were like, the floor is lava. The floor is lava. I was the first one there. I go to somebody's house, they have a kid and the kid goes, the floor is lava. The floor is lava. It's like the best fucking thing in the world. The floor is lava. When I am queen of the world, I am going to have the floor is lava day. This is going to be a thing. The floor is lava day, where everybody has to pretend that the floor is lava. And whatever the fuck you do, you cannot touch the ground because the floor is lava. You know what that is? That is the human brain going, let us problem solve abstractly. Let's do abstract problem solution today. The floor is lava. Solve the problem. And it's this obscene, weird problem. The floor is lava. The floor is lava is genius. That is like childhood imagination genius on a level. It's the most gorgeous thing in the world. The floor is lava. Let us practice problem solving abstractly. It's abstract problem solving. What was I watching last night? I was watching Doctor Who's Blink. Goes ding when there's stuff. And he said something. He said they're creatures of the abstract. He was talking about the weeping angels. And he was talking about how they are creatures of the abstract. And I went, oh, now that's something I understand. And they are the most lonely of creature because they are frozen in time and they can only exist within the abstract when you're not looking at them. And I'm like, now I understand everything in that sentence. It was so beautiful. And then he talked about time and how I love it. It was the line, yeah, time is not at all what people think it is. And I'm like, thank you. Stephen Moffat understands my brain. And he used the doctor to translate all of it. It's beautiful. So it was like this beautiful coming together of the abstract, Stephen Moffat's brain and Douglas Adams in my brain. And the three of us were just like, yes. But you got to ask the right questions. The journey is the joy. It really is. Here's the thing is if you are pursuing a destination, don't ever pursue the destination. That is the sucker's trap door. It's the trap door. The sucker's it's sucker's bait, sucker bait. That's what we're going to call it. Sucker bait. I'm going to tell you the story of sucker bait. Sucker bait is the destination, is the pursuit of a destination. And here's the problem. This is the genius of Luffy, by the way, is you have a why. Why am I doing this? This is really what it comes down to. Why do we do X? Why? You have to have purpose. You have to have purpose. But the concept of let's put the purpose at the destination. Why are you putting the purpose at the destination? That is called misplaced purpose. Misplaced purpose is when you put your destination or your purpose at the end of a destination. Why the fuck are you doing that? Don't do that. That is misplaced purpose because as soon as you get there, you're done. Game over. That's sad. There are people who go, I don't want this to end, so I'm never going to begin the journey, so it never ends. Are you one of those persons? Are you one of those persons? I've never been one of those persons. I've never been one of those persons. But there are people who are so terrified of something ending that they won't even begin to live for fear of the end. So they just, well, it can't end if I never begin it. But then you've never lived. And that's just it. Then you've never lived. So instead, why do we do X? And this is, again, the genius of Luffy. For the journey. The journey is the purpose, not the destination. So it's the, what are you looking for? Adventure. This is the genius of me that I learned from Luffy. It's the adventure. This is why. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. That's not nice. Damn it. Damn it. Fuck. Damn it. I don't want to be so smart that I solved the One Piece riddle. I solved the One Piece riddle. Do I tell you the One Piece riddle? Damn it. My daughter's going, no. Okay. Damn it. Because we desire to go back to the integrated point. Because we seek the beginning. Oh, and that's the beauty of adventure. No, I am going to call this the one piece, and then I'm going to call it something else, and I don't know what's there. Is it a paradox? It's not a paradox. It's definitely not a paradox. Nope, I'm going to call it the one piece solution. That is fucking gorgeous shit. And my daughter is like, don't spoil it. And I'm going, okay. So I can't tell you because then she'd hear it and then she'd be like, no! So I can't explain any of this right now because spoilers. Damn it. Damn it. Wow. You know what? I'm just going to leave it there. It's the one piece solution. And it is ideal. It is absolutely ideal. I have been trying. God damn it. Damn it. That is. So I'm going to explain what One Piece is in case you have not watched the 2,000 plus episodes. 2,000 plus episodes. One Piece is the longest running anything in the entire world. You do not live in Japan without knowing about One Piece. It's not possible. It is not possible to live in Japan and not know about One Piece. You visit Japan and it's going to be in your face. And you're going to be like, what the fuck is One Piece? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I was the person who, when I got into anime, I fell in love with One Piece. It's the only anime that just completely like, I'm here for this. So I only watched One Piece. And then while I was watching One Piece, I watched Naruto. And then I realized that animes are not 8,000 episodes long. I did not know this. Turns out I was attracted to the two massive anomalies in all of Japan. Most animes run about 12 episodes long and then the anime is done. Or 32 episodes. You might get one that's 64 and that's weird. Most of them run 12 to 24 episodes long and then it's over. They like their stories really, really short. And again, occasionally you'll have a fluke. Full Metal Alchemist was really, really long. And then you have, what's another one? What's another really great example? Fairy Tail is really, really long. But they're not supposed to be long. They're not usually long. They're literally like 12 episodes and then the show's over. 24 episodes, 36 episodes, this show's over. They don't have seasons. They don't do seasons. They've condensed them down into seasons for the American viewing audience, but they don't do seasons. And they do arcs. They do arcs. So you might have a story that's one arc or two arc, and that's it. I love Death Note. I love Trigun. Full Metal Alchemist. Really, it's a fluke that it's long. But again, in comparison to Naruto or One Piece, oh my God, it's not long. And then Naruto outdid itself. Naruto and then Naruto Shippuden. So you've got the two Narutos. You got part 1 and part 2. But then they wrapped it up. One Piece is still going. It was started in 1999 and it's still going. That is how One Piece is infinite. It's like the infinicy. So there's a lot of people who are like, I won't, it's too long. And they won't even touch it. And I am so obsessed with One Piece. Like, it's the boy is my soul. He's my spirit animal. Luffy is my spirit animal. First of all, we were born on the same day. Our birthdays are like 2 days away from each other. Second of all, I learned how to smile from this boy. I learned how to laugh. He's literally an animated version of me. Really. Like, I'm like, oh my God, it's me on TV. And he's a pirate. He's a pirate. You have no idea. He's a pirate. And I'm like, oh my God, it's me, animated. I'm Luffy. I am Luffy. I am like the real life version of Luffy. It's amazing. And I'm like, oh my God. I have a picture of Captain Jack Sparrow hijacking the Going Merry while he's using his compass to go find his treasure. And Luffy's behind him trying to rip his throat out. And Jack has painted over the One Piece flag with his own captain flag. I love it. I love it. I love pirates. But Luffy, oh my God, he's amazing. He's so amazing. He is on a Sunshine Imagination adventure. That's what he is. That's what Sunshine Imagination Adventures is. I spent a year backpacking through Manhattan on my Sunshine Imagination Adventures, and I collect people just like he does. It's a thing we do. We collect people. And it's this mindset. And it was amazing because it's just the way I think. And then I'm watching this animated character come along and he's thinking the exact same way I'm thinking. You put yourself in a barrel, you throw yourself out to sea, and let's just see what the fuck happens. And that's how I live life. That's how he lives life. And it's literally the Luffy philosophy. There's no other word for it. It is the One Piece philosophy. And my philosophy is his philosophy. And it's really weird to see it personified in a 2,000 plus episode anime. But it's the way it is. And there are mermaids. There are mermaids. Because you can't have pirates without mermaids. It's just a thing. So I'm watching the personification of me in this show with pirates. Oh, it gets better. It gets better. He's got magic fruit that turns him into a superhero. So it's Marvel Comics meets Pirates of the Caribbean on a ship. Oh, I could not be happier. I could not be happier. This is One Piece. So the purpose of One Piece, well, that's the riddle, isn't it? That's the riddle. His purpose is to be king of the pirates. Yes! You see how I love this show. King of the pirates! And he's going to be the pirate king. But in order to be the pirate king, you have to find the One Piece. So he's looking for the One Piece only because he wants to be the king of the pirates, not because he actually wants the One Piece. He just wants to be king of the pirates. So his goal is, I'm going to be king of the pirates. And you tell me that I've got to go get the One Piece to be king of the pirates, I'm going to go get the One Piece. It's not a question in his brain. Will I? Oh, he is. He's doing it. How he does it is the weirdness that exists. That's how that is that's the journey, and that's it. That is it. You want to know how to live life? Watch One Piece. You want to be happy? Learn from Luffy. That boy's got it figured out. All of life's secrets are literally composed into One Piece. Do not watch the live action version. I will find you and slap you. Do not watch. I can keep the straight face until my daughter laughs, and then I lose it. I will find you and slap. Do not watch the live action. Do not watch the live action. You got to watch the anime. Do not watch it in English. You have to watch it in Japanese with the dubbing. I'm sorry, with the subbing. It's got to be subbed because, oh yeah. Oh, you got to hear the gorgeous voice that is Mayaki. Oh my God. Oh, so much. I love One Piece. My car's license plate used to be One Piece. Like I had the Going Merry. Oh my God, I loved it. I loved it so much. So when I went backpacking, I'm like, I'm Luffy. And that's it. And it's the pirate life. It's freedom. It's freedom. It's adventure. It's purpose. That boy always knew who he was, what his origin was, and what he was for and what he was doing. That boy never, ever doubted who he was. Even when he didn't know who he was in that one episode when his memories were taken away, he still knew who he was. He is a person who stands no matter what. There is no down for Luffy. You stand. He always stands. He would get knocked down and he would stand. He would be unconscious and he would stand because he doesn't know how to do anything else. I learned how to stand from One Piece. No, I didn't. I was standing long before I found One Piece. Like I said, he was a personification of me. So when I saw him standing down in the mud, I'm like, oh yeah, that's how you stand. And one time he broke. I broke one time. I just got back from being broken. Oh my God. You find your soul again. And then you're back on your adventure and you're off again. I just got back from my 2-year hell of I'm living One Piece. That's what I'm doing. I'm literally living a real life adventure of One Piece. And it's this, I am going to be this title. And that's it. You pick a title for yourself. You stick with that title, but that's who you are. And there's nothing else. It's not a question of if, it's a matter of how, but it's not oh my God, I'm not going to live. You just go. You just do it. You just do it. Ethically, but you do it. And you know, he's never once thinking about getting to the one piece. It's not at all about the destination. And I'm close to summarizing the words and just putting them right into the word journey. And there's something about the word journey. Oh, maybe I should just look at the etymology. Maybe that'll just point it all in the range. So what is the etymology of journey? Oh, and you know what I've never looked up? Oh, journal. Isn't that interesting? Daily portion. Daily portion. Wow. So now I'm going to look up adventure etymology. Never done this. This is going to be fun. Arrive. Huh. Adventure is to arrive. It's almost as if the destination is the story of the adventure. That's what it sounds like. Isn't that interesting that the word arrive means adventure? Wow. And it's this, the adventure, you know, every morning I wake up and I go through this process. Every morning I wake up and I think, what are the adventures of today? Every day. It's like, what are the adventures? Every day I wake up and I'm like, adventure every fucking day. This is my day. I literally, the very first word out of my mouth every day is adventure. Like there's nothing else. It's what the fuck weird shit is going to happen today that is my adventure. And that's it. That's it. It's go do this, go forth in the spirit of Luffy. Like that's it. The spirit of Luffy, your Luffy spirit. We're gonna call it your Luffy spirit. And this is it. Luffy spirit. I am the personification of Luffy. I know he's a personification of me because I existed long before that boy did. Like I said, I'm like one of these days I'm going to meet Ichiro Oda, the author, and I'm gonna be like, dude, I'm Luffy. It's like I've been Luffy since I was 4, dude. Like it's a thing. Yeah, like oh yeah. Okay, so there's one thing about Luffy that I do not have in common. He's really stupid. I mean, he is not. But my favorite Luffy moment, really, my favorite Luffy moment. I will tell you my favorite Luffy moment. So when he's fighting and beating the shit out of Arlong, this is early on. This is like 60 episodes in, and he's beating the shit out of Arlong. So he's got his pirate ship. Oh, no, he doesn't. He's got a boat. He's got a boat at this point, but he's got a crew that he's starting to put together. And the way he collects people, well, it's the way I collect people. You're my friend. You are kin of my ilk. That's what I call it. You are kin of my ilk. And it does not take long. You are kin of my ilk. You belong on my ship. In fact, I do this every morning. I will message my friends and welcome to Sunshine Imagination Adventures. You are kin of my ilk. What adventures do we have today? This is how I talk to people in my circle. These are how my friends, this is my circle. And he has this hodgepodge of people. No, this is going to be good. I need the best. This is who's, and you just grab them and you bring them along for your adventures and you're on your adventure. And he finds this girl, Nami. Nami's the navigator. And he knows he's got to go to the pirate graveyard, which is the most dangerous, ruthless ocean in all of the world. It's literally the pirate's graveyard because no one comes out alive. You don't make it out. But that's where the One Piece is. So that's where he's got to go. So he's accumulating his crew before he even gets into that part of the ocean. And he has his mind made up that you're the one, you're coming with me. You're part of my kin. You're my nakama. This is nakama. This is nakama. Nakama. There's no English word for this. I have no English equivalent. You you are nakama. There's no word in English for this word. It's this is why I love the Japanese language, is because they've got words that we don't have, that we need, and you can feel. So if I were to reverse engineer nakama into English, you're my energy family. There you go, energy family. Energy kin, energy kin, energy kin, energy kin. That's nakama, energy kin. Oh, that is it. Energy kin. That's nakama. So he has an energy kin. It's Nami. And she is enslaved by a pirate who has made a deal with her. He killed her mother. He enslaved her entire island. And he made a deal with her at 8 years old, after enslaving her, that he'll keep her alive if she works for him and joins his crew. So at 8 years old, she's forced to join his crew. And he makes a deal with her. You raise $1 million and you can buy the island back. So she agrees to work for him, becomes a pirate. She's shat on and hated by the people in the village because she's a pirate. She betrayed her people. And she starts to steal and accumulate wealth from pirates, only from pirates. And she brings it back to the island, and she literally 10 years to get 1 million berries saved up while she works for him. And all of her story comes out. You realize that, well, that's exactly it. You realize that she's just trying to save her people who hate her because she had to go pirate to do this, to keep herself and everyone alive. She's got 10,000 gold pieces, $10,000 left to save up. And he figured it out, robs her, steals all of it. And she's in this moment of, she's insane. She absolutely breaks down with insanity. And it's like, I'll just go do it again. I'll just go do it again. And she's not okay. So she picks up a dagger, and Luffy, this is how Luffy handles it. He takes a nap. That's what Luffy does. He takes a nap. He's like, when you're ready to ask for help, I'll be here. And he just sleeps. And she's tormented. She's trying to fight on his own. They're all like, she needs help. Hey, when she asks, she's got to ask. And he knew that if he had offered, she'd say no. And everyone kept offering, everyone kept trying. And she's like, no, I got to do this on my own. She's at this breaking point. She's sobbing. She grabs a dagger and she starts stabbing her shoulder where this tattoo of her enemy was. And she finally breaks it down and she says, Luffy, help. And not a word. He stands up, he gives her his treasure, and he goes to kick Arlon's ass. And after he's kicking the fuck out of Arlon's ass. And while they're having this massive fight, he finds the room where this 8-year-old girl spent her life writing maps for this pirate. And he had her writing for so long that there was blood on her pens. And he could see that this room was actually a prison, and he destroys the fuck out of it. He breaks the prison room for Nami. And it breaks all down. It's at the very end of the fight, and Arlon's like lashing out at Luffy about how weak Luffy is. And he goes, weak? He goes, yeah, you need people, so you're weak. He goes, you think I'm weak? He goes, I know I can't fight swords. That's why I need him. And he points to Zoro, the world's greatest swordsman. He goes, I know I can't cook. That's why I need him. He points to the chef. I know I'm not a good liar. That's why I need him. And he points to Usopp, who has a lying problem. And Usopp goes, hey. And he goes, and I know I can't navigate and sail. And that's why I got her. He goes, those aren't my weaknesses. Those are my strengths. That's Luffy. That is Luffy. It's being wise enough to know how stupid you are in all of your weak spots. So you know who you need. And it's being able to find people who can't do what you can do. And it's stone souping the shit out of your own resources. Knowing that you'll have synergy when you lock in and you bring it all together. And it's combining that power. It's understanding this is only as far as I can go on my own. That's the third ethic. That's the real challenge of the third ethic. Every one of the ethics contains a creation, a disintegration, and a cancer. Every ethic has one of these three things. The third ethic has a strength. Their strength is endurance and perseverance. That is the strength of the third ethic. They know how to endure and they know how to persevere. Good God, do they? They've got it down. The weakness, the lesson of the third ethic is trusting people and humbling themselves to finally ask for help. The cancer of the third ethic is trusting their own distrust over people. That's it. And when you're not aware of the cancer of your ethic, oh, it will consume you. It will absolutely consume and destroy you. Every ethic has a weakness, has a strength, and has a cancer. And you're supposed to share your strength. You're supposed to accept. You're supposed to accept your weakness. And you're supposed to be vigilant of your cancer. So really the common denominator of every single ethic is, what are you sharing? What do you have to accept? And what do you need to be vigilant about? And it's that ratio that literally tells you which ethic you're in. What are you really good at sharing? What do you have in abundance? What is your greatest strength? What is your scarcity? And what is your cancer? What is the one thing? Now here's the problem. The majority of people are consumed by their cancers and they don't even know it. They value their cancer and they nourish their cancer, thinking that their cancer is what keeps them safe, while they ignore their strength and they never avoid your scarcity. Never avoid your scarcity. You need to indulge in your scarcity, and that's how you magnify it. So whatever your scarcity is, if you have a scarcity of humbling yourself, third ethics, that is actually what you need to indulge in to flip the formula, literally to switch the algorithm, to restore the equilibrium of your ethic. What you're really doing is breaking down the equilibrium of your ethic. And once you restore the equilibrium of your ethic, you flip the switch and you grow. So what you're really doing is learning how to scale, how to balance. You have an abundance of X, a shortage of X. People want to avoid their shortage and indulge on their abundance. You've got to flip it. That way you get the balance. But the problem is, if you don't do this, you're going to end up with a cancer that you nourish. And this is it right here, is knowing what you're abundant in. And this is the third ethic, by the way. This is just the third ethic. The abundance of endurance, perseverance, and the scarcity of trusting others and humility. And then the cancer is you trust your distrust. You trust your distrust more than you trust people. That is 100% the battle of the third ethic. The fourth ethic has an abundance of following the rules. They know how to use law and order. They have a scarcity of self-law and self-order. They don't know how to rule themselves or their lives without other people telling them what the law and order should be. And their cancer is projecting their law onto others instead of applying it to themselves. The scarcity always infests or festers into the cancer. The scarcity always turns into the cancer, always. If you do not know how to balance it out, then it's going to turn into a cancer. So our entire society is consumed by the fourth ethics cancer, which is use our laws to tell everybody else what to do. I live in New York City. The NYPD do jack and fucking shit here. You call them, they do nothing. They don't even have a 911 line. They have a 611 here. So if you have a problem, it goes to 611, which is an all automated system. The cops aren't even here. What the cops do is they shut down our marijuana shops that don't have licenses. That's what they do. If you have a problem, they will drive up and they won't even get out of the car. You have to go down to the car and talk to them while they sit in their car in the middle of the street. They won't even get out of the car. That is normal here. And a lot of people don't call the cops. No, that's common. No one calls the cops. I was watching this we were watching Blink, Doctor Who last night. And this guy was watching TV and he was like, why don't they ever call the cops? Why does no one ever call the cops? And my daughter said, because they don't do anything. Because they don't do anything. They don't do anything. What they do is they close down our weed shops, man. And because somebody's not paying the government tax money. And it's a known fact here. It's a common New York City thing is, yeah, there are no cops. The cops are there. So that's your fourth ethic projecting onto others. And it's just like, it has to be really fucking bad. But they only show up after the bad is done. They don't prevent the bad. They never prevent the bad. The bad is already over with, and then you call them to do cleanup. So cops are bad cleanup. Well, yeah, literally, it's crime cleanup. That's what they are. They do cleanup. They don't prevent. It's cleanup. There's no law. There's no criminal prevention. Have you noticed? There's no criminal prevention. It's just, okay, well, the bad shit's happened. Now you call the cops for the cleanup. They're the cleanup crew. They're the crime cleanup crew. That's what they are. They're crime cleanup crew. There's no crime prevention. So it's really, yeah, it's you learn how to take care of yourself here. You learn discernment. And they arrest our homeless. That happens. That's here. We do that because it's illegal to be homeless. So we have that. Yeah. The protect and serve is bullshit. There's no protecting and there's no serving. They are the crime cleanup crew for the really bad crimes. Or they just obstruct daily life. So that's your fourth perspective cancer. That's exactly what it looks like. Fourth perspective cancer. Second perspective, second perspective is kindness. Second perspective is fantastic with the nourishment and the kindness. And the scarcity is self-authority. Their cancer, slavery. They are too obedient, too kind. Literally, it's just obedient, submissive slavery. That is their cancer. So if you are a second ethic, kindness and nourishment, that's definitely going to be your forte. You're probably the first person to take care of everybody. You're probably the first one to be kind. And it's not even kindness, it's nice. It's nice. But you have no self-authority. That's going to be your weakness. That's actually your challenge. You need to learn how to have self-authority. And not learning how to have self-authority. Not learning how to have self-authority it's everything. You must learn your self-authority. So you need to indulge on your scarcity. But we have this desire to preserve or hoard our scarcity. But you have to indulge on your scarcity to practice it, to grow it, to nourish it. So your scarcity for the second ethic is self-authority. Your abundance is your kindness and your nourishment of others. The problem is you need to be scarce and frugal. You need to be frugal with your abundance. This is what wealthy people learn. This is why wealthy people are wealthy. They know how to be frugal with their abundance and indulge with their scarcity. And then it prevents the cancer from happening, which is the obedient, submissive slavery. So once you start to, I'm going to do 6 perspectives because this one's common. 6 perspectives. 6th perspective. Their abundance is helping others. And their scarcity is self-priority. Their priority is, they really struggle with self-priority. They struggle, they procrastinate. That is their poison. Their poison is procrastination. That is it right there. That is their cancer. They are so busy helping other people that they fail to self-prioritize. So they need, and self-priority is education and learning. That is their scarcity, is education and learning, because that's selfish. So in order to, and that's the cancer where they go, oh, that's selfish. No, you need self-priority, you need to educate, and you need to learn. And instead they will spend resources helping others at the expense of themselves. So they're martyrs. So then you get procrastination, you get self-martyrdom, and then you get somebody who never grows. So that's common with 6 perspectives. So knowing your indulgence, knowing your scarcity, knowing your abundance, knowing your cancer is vital to making sure that you have the right balance for that restored equilibrium. Once you master the equilibrium restoration of your ethical perspective, that's when you shift on to the next one. And then the lesson starts itself over again. Cross the room, open the door. To do that, you need to be frugal with your abundance, indulge in your scarcity, and you'll be fine. And that's the algorithm for your perspective shifting. Indulge in your scarcity. It goes against everything. The thing you are avoiding is what you have to indulge on. The thing that you are wanting to indulge in is the thing that you need to be frugal about. And that's now self-control. That's self-discipline. That is what you are actually practicing with every ethic. And now you're getting into self-regulation. And that's where it all integrates back in together, is your self-regulation, because you are regulating your indulgence, your abundance, your frugality, and your scarcity to get that equilibrium. And it's over and over and over again. Since I arrived at the point of comprehension, I have not tracked any of this with myself. Everything feels balanced, aligned, and equal. Everything. I took, and that's it right there, is easily I can see where, oh, very much, I can see it now, where it's only the 36 levels that it's balance. Now it's, well, I'm working on expansion. Because the balance, if I'm unbalanced, oh, do I feel it? I feel it instantly. I cannot be a degree. If I am a degree off from imbalance, I feel it. That is the mastery of the 36 levels, is you got balance down. You have alignment and balance down. After alignment and balance, I'm trying to figure out where I'm at. It's expansion. It's, Refinement. Well, I did refinement in the last stages. So it's define, defend, refine. Define, defend, refine. Those are the 3 stages. The first one, the first 12 ethics, you define. The next 12 ethics, you define. And then the last 3 ethics, or I'm sorry, the third round of 12 ethics, you refine. After that, now you're in the point of truth. Once you're in the point of truth, well, I'm navigation. That is what I'm doing. I can feel that. I am definitely maneuvering and mastering navigation. That's what I'm doing. And expansion, I can feel expansion happening. So for me, I'm at the navigation. I'm at expansion. Yeah, and that's the other thing is there's no time. So I'm looking at milestones. I'm not looking at, yeah, I stopped counting. The sequence is different now. I stopped counting with numbers because it's not relevant to me at this point. It's the same formula. I can see the same formula. And when I go through it, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's the same formula. So I just keep repeating the same formula. But now it's navigation and then it's expansion. Now I would say expansion happened first and then navigation is happening next. And now it's mastering the sequence. That's it, which is navigation. Navigation is the sequence. So yeah. And I know I'm in the immature stages of that, so I'm not able to see what's after that. But I remember it was definitely expansion and then navigation. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. It's all about understanding where you are in relativity to what is around you. The thing is, do you even know what is around you? And that's it right there. Do you even know what is around you? And that's where we get the sequencing in the order of operations. I want to take a look at this one more time. Yeah, identifying key milestones in your sequence, which is the defining. Yeah. Yeah, that's it right there. There is nothing else after that. That is it. That ends part 1 of the self, which is 36 levels. That's it. Because after that, that's when you begin expansion in the navigation. It is an art form. Sequencing is also science. So thank you so much. And may the truth always find you.